This is probably the longest I had to take before uh, clicking record on OBS. Took a couple minutes here to gather my thoughts and try to figure out exactly what to say and where to start at. And unfortunately, I'm at a loss because there are people that have known this gentleman and worked alongside this gentleman a lot longer than I have, and I haven't done it at all. There's Steve Burke, there's Elena, there's John Phillips, a lot of people at PC World, and far in between and everywhere that have worked with this person, this pioneer. And I will honestly say that I regretted having to do this video because I knew it was coming eventually. Gordon Ma Ung, PC World editor and renowned hardware journalist, has died over the weekend at age 58 due to pancreatic cancer. John Phillips writes this article. He does a very good job on this send up, more than anyone else could, maybe with the exception of Steve Burke. But let's continue because he really nails it and says it in such a way. This is Gordon, PC World executive editor Gordon Mong, a tireless journalist we once described as a founding father of hardware tech journalism, passed away over the weekend after a hard-fought battle with pancreatic cancer. Sorry, I just can't speak today. Gordon was 58 and leaves behind a loving wife, two children, older sister, and mother. With more than 25 years experience covering computer tech broadly and computer chips specifically. Gordon's dogged reporting, one of a kind personality, and commitment to journalistic standards touched many, many lives. He will be profoundly missed by coworkers, industry sources, and the PC enthusiasts who read his words and followed him as a video creator. Um, I recall I discovered Gordon Mung. I think during in the mid '90s, mid '90s and late '90s. It was around the time we had the K6-2 and K6-3 CPUs, and I only had a K5 at the time. And I stumbled on I stumbled on an article of his with his byline talking about a major shortage of cache chips to the point where some of the shadier motherboard makers were resorting to fake cache chips on the motherboards. I was one of them. I was probably installing a COM port bracket or maybe a Voodoo card. It was most likely if I it was most likely the Diamond Stealth S220 that was based on the Rendition Virete chipset that eventually the Micron bought that company. Um, because I couldn't afford a Voodoo class video card, so the Diamond Stealth S220 was a $200, $230 card or something like that, and I could play V-Quake, which was, it wasn't GL Quake, but it is what it is. And I remember it was probably the time when I installed that card, my screwdriver slipped and blink, 512 kilobytes of pipeline burst plastic went flying. And that's when me and my outraged pony discovered Gordon. Just shortly thereafter. As the article continues, Gordon studied journalism at San Francisco State University and then worked as a police reporter for the Contra Costa Times in the late 90s. In 97, he joined Computer World and PC. Wait a minute, late 90s? Yeah. I think there was a, wasn't there, I think he was just starting to shift into computer journalism. It was somebody's byline. I want to think it's Gordon's. I'm not too sure. It's like I said, it's been, oh man, a lifetime ago. Oh man. Well, Gordon is 7 years older than me, and I'm 51. So I was in my 20s in the 90s, a lifetime ago. If it wasn't for flashbacks, I don't think I'd have any memories at all. And even the flashbacks, I can't even rely on anymore. In 97, he joined Computer World, a PC World sister publication, before I recruited him to join Boot Magazine. It would be probably Boot Magazine where I saw it. And later relaunched as Maximum PC, where he would ultimately lead hardware coverage for 16 years. At Maximum PC, Gordon developed his trademark voice that blended a hardcore passion for PC tech with non sequiturs, deadpan humor, and occasional bursts of outrage. As a very early podcaster in the tech space, Gordon's Rant of the Week segment on the Maximum PC pod became so legendary, someone made a soundboard of his sound bites. As I listened to his rants from my office, he always had me guessing, is he really that angry or is he playing us? And that was part of Gordon's genius. His number one commitment was to investigate the story, informing the public, and helping people make the best technology decisions. But layered on top of it all was a master showman who effortlessly connected with like-minded enthusiasts. During much of his time at Maximum PC, Gordon was the lead designer, builder, and dreamer behind the magazine's annual Dream Machine project, which entailed creating the most outrageous, high performing PC possible. Throughout these building endeavors, he cemented his relationships with Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, and other hardware manufacturers, too numerous to mention. Gordon's goal was to get the newest, best, most high performing parts before anyone else. And it didn't end with CPUs and GPUs. If a piece of technology went into a PC build, Gordon had an encyclopedic knowledge about all of it: memory, storage, power supplies, cases, cooling, and beyond. Gordon was also the unnamed author of Maximum PC's Consumer Advocate Watchdog column. As the mysterious watchdog, Gordon responded to reader complaints about fly by night companies and failing products and applied all of his investigative skills to help readers reach a resolution. It was a perfect merger of consumer service, deep reporting, and tech smarts that only Gordon can own. Sort of like Star Trek's Scotty, who preferred sticking to his technical manuals. Gordon resisted taking the helm of Maximum PC, but eventually agreed to become editor in chief in 2014. Flash forward to later that year, when I once again asked for his help, this time to join PC World as executive editor in charge of hardware. At PC World, Gordon immediately began imprinting his knowledge and personality in our articles and video. His deep dive CPU reviews were epic and continued a legacy of no BS chip coverage that nonetheless earned the trust and respect of the companies he covered. Some of his first segs into video took the form of our Hardcore Hardware series, where he married his deep wealth of knowledge with trademark Gordon theatrics. But it wasn't until we launched the Full Nerd podcast in 2016 and set Gordon loose on many more video formats did he come full circle as a creator. As the host of the Full Nerd, Gordon was able to deliver all of his knowledge and analysis at a much faster pace. And if you've seen the Full Nerd, and who hasn't, you know just how much he loved everything the PC scene had to offer. Through his expanded presence on the Full Nerd, Gordon developed deep relationships with not only other YouTube creators, but also with dedicated followers. You could almost hear his fan base cheering him on via the comments feed during live shows. I have often thought that the way Gordon shared his reporting in print and on podcasts served as model for what PC hardware YouTube would become: unapologetically nerdy, opinionated, and full of attitude. But Gordon always delivered a crucial additional element: a legit journalism background and all the rigor it entails. Gordon continued to shoot video and appear on the Full Nerd until weeks before his death. Talk about a commitment to beat coverage. He was following the story to the very end. I met Gordon in journalism school and spent a lot of time with him in the trenches, sharing cubicle spaces and hearing him riff. I will remember his endless debates with coworkers. His bob and weave rhetorical style was as maddening as it was entertaining. I'll remember his 2 hour long photo interviews with sources, He interrogated them like a pro, but played the long game and cultivating trust. I'll remember his reliability and always asking about the TPS reports when some bureaucratic email landed in our inboxes. I'll remember him slyly trolling me by calling the series Star Trek, even though I'm 99% sure he knew that's not how it was pronounced. He might have been the staff curmudgeon, but he was also our most fun co worker, bar none. And there is a GoFundMe to help Gordon's family pay for some of the outstanding medical bills and associated costs. And that'll be in the description, both of this. I related my little story about the 512 kilobytes of pipeline burst plastic flying off my motherboard, and I even donated some. So yeah, if you can help, please do. And also, I want to say that if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the folder over on YouTube because Adam and Elena and everybody else on that show do phenomenal work, and they're going to need our support in this time where their dear friend and colleague is no longer there with us. So there's going to be a void. And I think Gordon would want us, in whatever way we can, to help fill that void. So by all means, subscribe to The Full Nerd, donate to the GoFundMe, and to Gordon, thank you, my friend.